Welcome back to Love, Death, and Movies podcast, a podcast where we fully break down a film every episode and give you a deep dive thoughts on it. Every month is a new category and a whole lot of fun. I'm one of your hosts, Ash, and I'm joined today by the real agent Argyle, Harry. Harry,
Oh,
how's it
that
going?
took me so off guard. That's awesome. I loved every
Not,
second of
you're not the
that.
only one that can try new intros, okay?
Oh, that just took me off guard. I loved every second of that. I'm great, Ash.
See?
Yeah, now I'm
See?
great. I'm gonna give you a 9.5 out of 10 for that.
Thank you.
That's high.
Wow.
That's high.
We like to rate things on this podcast and not just movies,
Hey,
so
hey man, how are you? How are you? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I think this might be the highlight of the day. It's been a long work day, but it's Friday evening, so it's almost the weekend, and I'm excited about that. But
Yeah.
as everyone knows, this is the only movie podcast that knows what Marcellus Wallace looks like. But it's also the only podcast that is breaking down directorial debuts all month of May long. So we are continuing with that this week. And we'll be going through the legend, rest in peace, John Hughes's debut in 16 Candles. This film actually just celebrated its 40th anniversary, if you did not know, Harry, on May 4th.
Oh
So the timing
wow.
is perfect.
Yeah, like
We
let
didn't even know this. We just kind of did it on accident.
I'm gonna edit this in post. We totally knew that, Ash. Like we just planned so well ahead.
We're so good.
Oh wow, yeah, that's crazy. The
I love that it came out on May 4th too, because obviously that day has such a like Star
Star
Wars-esque
Wars,
theme
yeah.
now associated with it. But yeah, 40th anniversary, which it shows, but we'll get into that
Yeah,
later.
it definitely shows.
Before that, obviously, Harry, how's your week? How's your life? What's going on, as always?
Yeah, week's been good. Like classic work week, which is good. Anyone that's in Australia, I'm a massive AFL supporter. My team's the Sydney Swans. I live in Sydney. We are dominating this year. Top of the table. We've lost one game this entire game. I went out last night, watched the game. It was over in Perth, which is the other side of the country. But I watched it at a pub near me, and we just dominated. Again, like we're just so good, and so like that really like I love movies. I do a fucking movie podcast. AFL is still my number one love in this world. It's like AFL, pork and chive dumplings, and then movies. But oh my god, so like those games really do dictate my mental health for the next week. So I'm great with that. I got to go to the
Nice.
premiere of Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Go watch my TikTok review. It's fine. I think it's nothing more than fine. Unfortunately, I loved the
Hmm.
trilogy, but yeah, here's what it is. It was good fun
Yeah.
though. Like the premiere was awesome. They had like people dressed up as apes walking on horses and stuff, and it was really
Hmm.
like what's it called, the uncanny valley, where it's just like it's something just seemed really like way too real and off a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a little off-putting.
yeah, exactly. But yeah. Other than that, just good cruisy week. What about yourself?
Nice. Yeah, I've never been a big fan of the like not a I shouldn't say like a hater or dislike them. I just never been super into the Planet of the Apes
It's
like
not for you.
movies in general.
Yeah,
It's just not my thing. Yeah,
yeah.
I've definitely seen the ones that came out like in the 2000 like 14 to 2017 range, but I already forgot about them. Like I couldn't tell you one thing that
Yeah.
happened. So
No,
that's where I'm at with those. But yeah, my week is fine. It's life's a little kicking my butt right now, but we move forward. That's what you do when you're an adult. It's just part of the deal. But yeah, my bathroom's being worked on, being renovated. The last 2 weeks, it should be done by the end of next week. So that's something to look forward to. But bit of a headache throughout the week on top of, working and doing all the normal stuff. So nothing too exciting to highlight from this. I did finish the Fallout show though. I
what'd you
really
think?
enjoyed it. I
Hell
really
yeah.
liked it. Yeah.
Hell
I'm very
yeah.
impressed and I've never played the game, but I'm very excited to see what they do next. So
It's one
yeah,
of
I
those
really
shows
enjoyed
that
that.
like, yeah, you don't need to play the game. I feel like
Yeah,
just the
no,
world
I
of
don't think
itself
so.
is so fascinating. Like,
It really is. Yeah, I felt like I learned plenty just from watching it, and the music is so good in it. So yeah,
yeah.
very pleased with it.
Hell yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump in to what is sure to be one of our more controversial movies yet,
Yeah.
and one that I'm not sure will be one that is as loved as we've done mostly movies that I would say are like almost 4 stars or higher for both of us. So we'll see. We'll talk about that at the end, obviously, but nevertheless, it'll be an interesting conversation. So we'll dive in. So the story goes as follows. It's pretty basic. Teenage girl deals with her parents forgetting her birthday and a crush on her high school's heartthrob. That's literally the letterbox description. So it's very simple. Before I jump into the breakdown, I'm curious what your relationship with the film is. I guess tell me your general thoughts on it. And I guess more importantly, John Hughes movies, like as a whole, what you think of them. Um, but before you tell me that, I just had a couple little fun things for you here. So, John Hughes, weirdly enough, wrote this script apparently, and also The Breakfast Club at the same time. So they were
Jeez.
both ready. But Universal was like, we got both scripts. We want you to make 16 Candles first because we think it's more commercial. And they're probably right. It was probably one that more audiences were going to go towards, I guess.
Yeah.
Outside of, I guess his other films that came later between those two, I do think it was a good call. But I thought that was kind of funny that he had them both because I do think The Breakfast Club is more beloved. So it is interesting to see like if that came out first, kind of what would have happened with his career.
Yeah.
Um, and also interesting to note is that this movie came out before PG-13 was a thing. So F bombs in it, naked women, lots of talk about sex. It's all in a movie that's rated PG. Can you imagine being a teenager in the 80s and going to see a PG movie and having all of that in there?
That's awesome.
It's crazy, right? It's
Yeah,
crazy. I
that
remember I
is. I
bought the
know.
DVD. I had this film on DVD in high school, and I remember seeing the PG rating on the back, and I was so confused because by the time I was in high school, PG-13 was already a thing. I was just like dumbfounded because I just bought it, watched it for the first time, had no clue there was nudity because I'd watched it on like cable before that.
That's so
And they
good.
don't show that. So I thought it was hysterical that it was PG. But yeah, just kind
Yeah.
of interesting information there.
We don't have PG-13 in Australia.
Really?
Yeah. No, we used to have we got like M. You got M. Like we have
Rated
G.
M for mature?
Yeah.
Like,
So yeah, we got
yeah.
G, PG, and then we used to have M15 plus, but that's just changed to M. And then it used to be
Hmm.
MA 15 plus, and then R 18 plus. I think that's your X. I think that's kind of it then.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I don't really think that there's any movies going to theaters that are X rated. That's reserved for a
Depends what theater you're
different
going
place.
to, Ash. Depends what theater you're
Yeah,
going to.
yeah. Yeah, it's usually just G, PG, PG-13, and R. That's and
Different
then there's
parts of
also
town.
like the NC-17 is kind of probably like what you're talking about.
That's probably the X. Yeah, that's probably yeah.
But
That's right.
anyways,
Nice.
Harry, what's your relationship with this film? What do you think of it? What do you think of John Hughes?
Um, let's start with John Hughes. I love John Hughes. I think John Hughes is one of the best like writers of all time. The way that he has written these teen dramas or teen comedies, whatever you like to call them, some of them are just so iconic, and some of them should be known, remembered as such, of being just
Hmm.
so well done. 16 Candles isn't on that list for me. I think this is for a directorial debut. There's moments in this I'm like, that was cool, but there's a lot of moments where I'm like, this is a first draft. This is
Hmm.
a lot of this stuff just doesn't. It's kind of hard to describe. Like a lot of these movies, like Breakfast Club, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, we don't live life like that anymore, but they're still
Hmm.
timeless. They
Hmm.
still like can be watched at any moment and still you can still connect with them. You can't do that with 16 Candles.
Yeah.
16 Candles is very like it takes you a step away. So it does. I'm not a massive fan of this film. We can go through when we go through the breakdown why. I think there's elements that I do like, but as a whole, this is very much like I kind of see it as like as a point of education because I step back and look at it and I'm like, this is where John Hughes started and he definitely learned from it. And the
Hmm.
fact that I didn't know that he had both this and Breakfast Club written at the same time. Vastly different qualities in my opinion. I think Breakfast Club is fantastic, and this is not so fantastic. But
Hmm.
this very much feels it kind of weird. This really I was watching this and it kept reminding me of like early 2000s teen movies as
Hmm.
well because they kind of went back to this sort of comedy, and I just don't think for one you can't make this movie today. Like this movie is not getting made today. Um, but I don't know. I just felt like it very much felt like a first film, but it felt kind of just more like a first draft of a first film.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I love John Hughes. I think John Hughes is exceptional. Like I grew up
Yeah.
on John Hughes, like from Uncle Buck
Yep.
to Home Alone because he wrote Home Alone. Like I love John Hughes. So in terms of his filmography, I think it's one of the best that has ever been made.
Hmm.
But I just don't think 16 Candles is anywhere near the top. What
Yeah.
about yourself?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's interesting because he does write more than he directs, and I think that the movies I enjoy from him more are the ones that he writes
And doesn't
and
direct?
not the ones that he
Yeah.
directs. So I don't know really what that says. I don't know if maybe the ones he writes where he wants to bring the vision to life maybe just didn't quite hit, but the ones where he's, writing and kind of letting somebody else bring the magic to life on screen maybe work a bit better. I do love Uncle Bunk. Uncle Bunk, Buck.
Oh yeah.
That one will always be a favorite of
The
mine.
pancakes, the pancakes with a shovel.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like I give it a pass a bit more because it's got that Christmas kind of element to it and the family element to it. It just makes me kind of feel a certain way. And same with Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But yeah, this one is definitely at the bottom, along with like Weird Science, which I think ages absolutely like
Oh,
horribly.
really? I haven't watched Weird Science in
Oh yeah,
years.
I think I hate Weird Science. I think it's a bad movie.
Okay.
I just really don't like it. Breakfast Club is one that I would say, like, if you asked me 5 years ago, one of my favorite films, it'd probably be on that list. Since then, I don't know that it's aged
Really?
well for me.
Oh,
I
no, I
don't
love Breakfast Club.
dislike it, but I can critique it a bit more now. I think it's
Right.
important though to critique movies like this that were made at this time when problems of the world and problems of teenagers kind of were a bit surface level.
Yeah.
We kind of deal with a lot more real shit now. And I think his movies presented a world that was a bit not relatable for everyone.
No.
Um,
No.
I'll just say it that way. But yeah, I think he's still a fantastic writer. I still have a lot of respect for him. I grew up on these films. Like I was saying earlier, I bought 16 Candles on DVD when I was a teenager. It was like my favorite movie when I was 15. I just thought Sam was the best. Like, also, like having red hair, I feel like seeing a lead with red hair made me feel super like connected to her. And I just love Molly Ringwald.
Molly
So
Ringwald was amazing back in the
yeah,
day.
she's definitely the best part of this movie.
Yeah.
And she tries, but there's just not much to work with, unfortunately. Very iconic, obviously, and I think it is fun at a certain time in your life. But I definitely think that it's aging poorly. Even Molly Ringwald talked about in an interview recently that her kids now have watched this film and they're like teenagers, and they're telling her like, "Mom,
This isn't
what the
good.
heck are you doing here? Like, this is not okay." And she's like, "I think it's great that kids now are picking it apart and realizing what's okay and what's not." But she still supports it in the sense of, well, when I was young, this was what was normal and we still had a blast making it. So I think she understands that it's not aging well, but she's still
Yeah.
proud of it, which
That's
is
good.
kind of interesting.
That's good.
But yeah.
Nice.
Well, let's dive in then. So I don't have this in really like huge parts because it's a fairly short movie, fairly basic film.
It's a
So
teen movie. You can't really dissect this as
yeah.
much. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, let's just go through it. I'll kind of just stop along the way to get your thoughts. I think I have like three sections here. So
Lovely.
um, all right. So we open to a gorgeous brick house, likely somewhere on the East Coast. Um, any John Hughes film, it's always set in Chicago, probably near Illinois in the suburbs. It's
Majority of
usually always there.
John Hughes films, it's always just about really rich white families.
Yes,
Like
rich white families in the East Coast, in suburbia. So the house is beautiful, though. I'm a sucker for a
stunning.
brick house.
Oh yeah.
Um, so we meet the chaotic Baker family. They have four kids, so family of six, and it's just kind of chaotic, watching them all kind of go about their morning. We find out that the oldest sister, Ginny, is getting married the next day.
That's
We
right.
meet hopeless Sam, who is on the phone with her friend. Well, I think she's pretty hopeless. No offense, Sam. Who's on the phone with her friend, and she's looking in the mirror, commenting about how she looks and feels the same today on her 16th birthday as she did yesterday at 15. She somehow magically thought she was going to wake up and it was going to be drastically different. We get an inkling into her family, including her irritating, smart mouth little brother. I don't even know his name, but he's irritating. She walks downstairs, and by the time all the family leaves for the day, everyone's kind of getting ready for school and work. We get the iconic line, "They fucking forgot my birthday." And we open to the 16 Candles title flashing across the screen. I will say, I do love this intro. I think
Yeah,
it's
it's
pretty
good intro.
perfect, very solid,
He knows how to
kind of
write
gets
an
you
intro, doesn't
excited.
he? Like you think about
Yeah.
Breakfast Club's intro, Home
Hmm.
Alone's intro. He knows how to write an intro.
I agree. Yeah, I think that's probably my favorite part of the movie is the introduction. And then it just all goes downhill from there.
Yeah.
So we flash to Sam in class. She's filling out this note that she's been given. It's asking like a series of sexual history questions, which is so weird to
It
me.
is very weird.
Um, so she's filling out the answers. We learn that she has a massive crush on Jake Ryan, the whitest name ever made.
Jake Ryan.
And we see him sitting a little bit behind her in class, which, okay, this is my biggest pet peeve sidebar in these old teen movies. They will do this where the guy she has a crush on just happens to be in her class.
Yeah.
But then you find out 10 minutes later, well, he's a senior and I'm a sophomore. Why are they in the same
Why are they
class?
in the same class? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It pisses me off.
John,
Okay,
we're gonna have some words.
it's not even just John. It's in so many like high school movies and it's always bugged me. Like I guess when I was in high school there were certain types of classes where you might have different ages, but usually it's like elective classes, not
Yeah.
classes where you're sitting in a classroom like that, like just like a regular like desk style classroom.
Yeah. No,
Anyways,
exactly.
back to this.
That's a good point, because like I'm in Australia, of course, but I do
Mhm.
notice that. I'm like, is that weird? But yeah,
It's weird.
yeah, okay,
It's weird. It's because they want to make sure the characters perfectly are in the right moment at the right time and they don't think about logic. They just think about what the characters need to be doing in that moment.
What does
Um,
sophomore mean?
it means that you're in your second year of high school.
Okay, so freshman's first year, sophomore
Mhm.
second year, then
Junior,
junior middle school,
it's the third year, and then fourth is senior. It's your
senior.
final year.
Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So
Thank you,
Sam
Ash.
fills out the note. You're welcome. She's filled it out, indicating that if she was going to sleep with someone, she'd like it to be Jake. She tries to pass this note to her friend Randy behind her, who's asleep in class, and it falls on the ground, of course. And Jake is so intrigued, he leans forward and picks it up and steals the note. You know, why not?
Why not?
um there's this dumb conversation he has with some like 40 looking year old guy in
Yeah,
the
he looks
gym.
so old.
I can't even with
With
that
the
scene, so I'm just like skipping over it because it irritates the shit out of me. That guy looks like he could be Jake's dad.
yeah,
Yeah, they talk about Sam in a horrible way, so I'm just gonna breeze on over that. But we meet Farmer Ted on the bus, obviously played by Anthony Michael Hall, right? That's his
yeah,
name. And Sam's headed home from school. He's harassing her with a series of questions, trying to get very close to her. Quite irritating to watch. And then she ends up telling him to go to hell. And then we have Joan Cusack sitting next to them on the bus with her metal headgear. We love the little Joan and John Cusack cameos in this movie. I think
yeah.
it's quite funny.
That it took me ages to realize that was John,
Hmm.
but it was like when they open the boot or the car,
Yep.
I don't know, trunk,
Hmm.
and you see them lying there. I was like, that's John Cusack. Like,
He
yeah,
looks the exact same.
yeah, he looks, yeah, he does look the exact same.
So funny.
Man's aged well.
Yeah, yeah. So the funny little cameos there, but she gets off the bus, goes home. We meet both sets of grandparents because we learned they were coming to town for the wedding. So we have kind of the super old school, what feels like almost like Southern style grandparents. They are taking over her room. She doesn't seem to adore them very much, which is interesting. And they also forgot that it's her birthday. She's kind of like trying to like hint at it. They don't remember. Then we meet the other grandparents in the hallway and they're kind of vastly different. They seem a little bit more like elite, a little bit
Yeah,
more pretentious. And they have this horrible conversation with the grandma's commenting about her breast size in front of the grandpa,
that was
and then
so
proceeds to
weird.
grab her.
Yeah, this
Horrific.
this movie's so odd.
It
There's
is.
so many times
Who
that
does
yeah,
that?
yeah, it's
But then
very
I
very
think
weird.
about it and I feel like like I've never had any kind of situation like this, but I do feel like there has been things that my grandma has said to me at some points in my life where I'm like, "Grandma, you can't say that. Like that's not okay." So I feel like it does kind of represent those just like out of touch old school grandparents who just like don't understand what's appropriate. But yeah, that scene is so cringe. I don't like it at all. So
Yeah,
then we meet
very fair.
Long Duck Dong,
Yep,
also known as Donger.
yep, yep,
Um,
yep, yep,
and we hear
yep,
our first gong noise that
yeah.
continues throughout the movie.
Because
Yep,
that's
yep,
okay to do. Yeah,
yep. And we learn that he's, I believe, an exchange student staying with the older looking grandparents, the ones that took over her room. And we have this great scene where Sam just says, "This is single handedly the worst day of my life." So dramatic. I mean, I get it. They forgot your birthday. It fucking sucks, dude, but you're going to be okay.
He
And
does
then we
seem
have
funny.
this scene of Sam's sister, who is just absolutely horrible and has no personality, talking to her about how selfish she is and her problems. She needs to stop. It's not about her. The opposite of a big sister pep talk, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think to myself, this family is worse than the McAllisters.
Yeah. Yes.
That's what I wrote down.
Wholeheartedly.
All right, so I'll stop there. What do you think of this intro and the introduction to all of these characters and this weird ass family?
It's hard to talk about this movie because like there's not that much to
Mm-hmm.
talk about. But
I know.
like this isn't the first time I saw this film. I think I saw this like when I was a teenager, but I never like I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't really remember it well. Like it's not a very memorable
Yeah.
film. But this opening just like shocked me and like how much weird shit is in it and how much
Mm-hmm.
like they're very. This movie is, oh, man, it might just be the time that we're living in. This movie is very, very homophobic, racist,
Yeah.
sexist.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, I feel weird watching this. Like, there's moments that are like are genuinely funny for sure, but and there's like good actual moments, but I don't know, a lot of it's just it just seems very cheap
Yeah.
sort of comedy. Uh, Long Dong is so fucked up as a character to have in here.
Mm-hmm.
But and the one character I truly love is Anthony Michael Hall. I think like I don't love what he does sometimes in the film,
Mm-hmm.
but I just love that. I love that character, that like that little geek that's like trying to impress his friends and stuff. I just love that actor as well. He's awesome. He's a massive John Hughes like
Yeah.
continuant. But yeah, like I don't know, the opening's fine. Like this whole movie is nothing more than average or okay. Like I don't know. I just don't think I'll ever watch this movie again.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think?
Yeah. It's interesting for me. I have a weird relationship with this movie because, like I said, I saw it very young and it was one of my favorites when I was a teenager. And I would continue to rewatch it. That's the thing. I'm not like, this isn't a film where I just saw it when I was 15 and then I just rewatched it for the first time. This is probably like the ninth time I've seen it. I know it pretty much straight through. Like, I've seen it so many times.
And has it
Um,
completely changed in quality for you?
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
If you asked me when I was 15, it was a five-star film.
Really?
You ask me
Wow.
today, it's going to be very different than that. I would tell you that right now. But as your movie taste grows and as you grow as a person, I feel like that's normal. Like, I'm sorry, if all of us are like, oh, my favorite movie when I was 14 is the same as now, I just don't buy that. Like, it changes, you
Yeah,
know?
my favorite movie when I was 14 was Disturbia.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
Great
like as
movie.
your taste, I mean, it's still great,
Still
but
great, but
it's
it's
not a
not a
five-star
five out
film.
of five. Yeah. Yeah.
No. Yeah, no, I agree. I think the intro's fine. I think the first 5 minutes, like the actual opening, like I said, is probably like one of the best parts of the film. Um, I hate how all the high schoolers act. I hate how it's like Sam and her friends act. They're just so like apathetic and oh, life is so hard. I'm
Yeah.
just like, I don't know, but I remember being a teenager and you feel that way sometimes, but it's just portrayed so dramatically in John Hughes movies. I have a hard time like really empathizing with any of the
Yeah.
characters.
No way.
Um, and the ones that I can't empathize with are just so dull that I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like Jake is one of the most dull characters ever written. Carolyn, so dull. Just they're all just so dull. Like I don't think there's much to any of them. Um,
That's so true.
sorry, I sound like a hater right now, but
No,
not every movie's gonna be a
dull's
winner.
a good word for it, though. Hey,
Yeah,
as
I think
we said to George last week, I'm like, we've just gone through 3 months of peak. Like,
yes,
well,
exactly.
we're due a stinker. Like, we're
We
due.
are due a stinker.
Yeah.
I do agree Anthony Michael Hall plays the character well, but I absolutely despise his character.
Yeah.
I feel like as a female, from the female perspective, I think those kinds of humans that exist in your world when you're a teenage girl are just absolutely aggravating. And it does exist even still. Like I remember dealing with certain types of personalities like that. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a geek thing.
Yeah.
I just think that it's an irritating high school boy thing. And he just happens to be kind of more the geek who has too much confidence, I think.
I don't think there's a good male character in this film.
No, not at all.
Even though the jock dude, there's like the main love interest, can't even remember his name. Like what he does to his current girlfriend
Yeah,
is like,
we're going to
yeah,
get
yeah,
into that.
yeah.
We're gonna Let's jump to the next section, Harry. So we have the school dance happening. Um, and I know for me, this immediately sent me back to like middle school, high school. I feel like because I grew up in a small town, especially, like so many things were so outdated for us. that I feel like my high school or middle school dances didn't look that different than what they were doing. Just maybe the outfits were different. So that definitely took me back. And then we have Anthony Michael Hall, which we already kind of touched on this, but I do think he is the perfect geek. I don't think anyone else could have played this character. I
Yeah,
do think he
that's
fits
that
very
was
well.
mainly my point. Is like he just
Hmm.
the what like he you just believed it like
Yeah,
from him. Yeah,
100%. So yeah, we have him making a bet with his buddies that he's going to get a pair of underpants, and they're like, a girl's. Ew. We have, I just wrote ew. Long Duck Dong is cradling a woman that is taller than him, and
yeah,
his head is on her breasts. Got the nice nip shot through the t-shirt there. She also looks about 40,
yeah. She
so
looks
that's
like I
weird.
thought she was the teacher
Yeah,
when
it's
this is
weird.
happening. Yeah, interesting.
Very strange. But they're dancing. No clue how they met. You just that's your introduction to them together,
Yeah,
and they kind of continue throughout the film. And then we flash to Sam. She's sitting alone in the half-built car after she gets upset. I think Farmer Ted kind of embarrasses her on the dance floor and is bugging her, so she's sitting there by herself. I do kind of like that shot. You just see of her in the whole mechanic shop, and it's like a half-built car, and she's just kind of sitting there.
yeah.
It
That
is
was
a pretty
awesome.
iconic moment.
Yeah, I thought that was cool as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, I like that a lot. That shot is pretty cool, I will say. But he comes over to talk to her and he's knocking shit over. This is not the first time or the last time he will do this in the movie. He's so clumsy.
very clumsy.
But he kind of sort of apologizes. It kind of feels like half-assed apology. And he gets in the car with her. I think it's kind of funny. She like leans over and unlocks the door, but it's like everything's so open. He could
Yeah,
have just like jumped in. Um,
I did
and
notice that.
then we have her sharing with him that it's her birthday and kind of venting a minute. And then he immediately breaks out into song. You say it's your birthday. That, yeah,
He's good,
that's
isn't
my
he?
impression of it.
He's good, isn't he?
It's pretty funny. I think the breakout into song is kind of funny. I did write down, this has me LOLing. Ted tries to then, though, get on top of her and be
Yeah,
an
that was
absolutely
weird.
disgusting guy. It's like he listens to her for zero point 0.5 seconds and then he decides, oh, this is my chance. She must like me and want me to get on top of her because I listened to her problems for 90 seconds.
Yeah, that's how it
Um,
works.
and if I sound sour, it's because, Harry, this is what it's like to be a female.
Yeah, I bet.
You're nice to someone for 90 seconds and they're like, okay, that means I can do whatever I want.
Oh man.
Sam tells him that it's okay that he did it the first time, and then he immediately does it again. And she's like, I meant it's okay that you did it once. I didn't want you to do it again. Um, and I'm just extremely glad I'm not alive in the 80s, is all I'm thinking at this moment. Although I shouldn't say that because it's not like it's always gotten that much better at
No,
this
for
point in
sure.
time, but
No,
I have to
definitely
imagine that it's a little better.
for sure.
And then he does share with her that Jake is asking about her, which obviously she freaks out in happiness. Um, one thing I wrote here I have to read is the confidence on Farmer Ted makes him such a twat, in my opinion. I cannot stand it. I
What?
hate how confident he acts. It is so irritating, but it's so perfectly irritating. Like, that's the point,
Yeah.
obviously.
No, I get exactly what you
Um,
mean.
ugh, it just drives me nuts. But anyway, so because she is happy, I guess, that he listened to her vent, and then now she knows Jake's interested. He asks for a favor and says, "Can I borrow your panties for 10 minutes?" And tells her about the bet, and she agrees to it, gives him her panties, but then she never gets them back. So I guess she goes the rest of the night not wearing any panties. I'm not sure. Um, that doesn't really make any sense, but he ends up with them. Jake leaves with Carolyn because I don't know if we've already touched on it, but they are obviously a couple. They seem to be the most popular, most gorgeous people in this school, and they are together. And Sam is trying to practice what she's going to say. And she even gets face to face with him in this moment that I think is so horribly acted, where they like look at each other really close and then the music starts going.
Yeah.
And then she just turns and walks away. I
That
hate that
made
moment.
I
It's so
hated
stupid.
that moment
Hate it.
because it's like a catalyst for other stuff later on in the film, and
It's so dumb.
I'm like, that is so stupid. Like, yeah,
Hmm.
that took me out of it as well.
So dumb. But then yeah, we obviously kind of find out when him and Carolyn are leaving that his parents are out of town. So Jake's having a big party at his house because always naturally in these high school movies, somebody's parents are out of town, some rich kids having a party and destroying his parents' house. Um, so we have Farmer Ted and his friends arrive at the party. Everyone else is already there, drunk, doing whatever. And then we have Jake in his room, and somehow he's gotten Sam's phone number and he's calling
Yeah.
her direct line. She has her own line in her bedroom.
But what time is
Um,
this though?
I'm guessing if it's after the dance, I would imagine it's somewhere between 9 and 10 p.m.
Would
That's
you
my guess.
call someone that you've never really talked to's family home at 9 or 10 p.m.?
It's not a family home phone, though. That's the thing. She has her own line to her
Right.
bedroom.
Yeah, then how the hell does he know that?
That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Yeah.
So he calls, and the grandparents are already asleep, but the grandma
Of course they are.
answers. And I love this moment when she puts down the phone. The grandpa's like, "What do they want?" And she just goes, "Sex." It's like she didn't even
Sex.
like hear anyone speak, and she's just decided that this person is just like anti-God, like bad person that just wants sex. I think it's so hysterical to me with the grandparents. Like it goes on forever, like of him trying to call, chickening out, calling again. The grandparents keep answering. I think that scene goes on way too long, in my opinion. I think it's really dumb.
Yeah.
Um, and then in the meantime, Carolyn comes to find Jake in his room, and he just shuts the door on her and says, "Leave me alone," basically. Poor girl gets her hair stuck in the door. And I think, again, to myself, I know I mentioned it earlier, but God, this guy is so dull. I think
Yes.
he's just one of the worst heartthrob characters I've ever seen in a movie.
He's not even that hot. I'm
No, my
sorry. Like,
15-year-old self was like, "Ooh, this guy." Now I'm
yeah.
just like, ugh,
I'm glad we're on the
gross.
same page because, like, what the fuck?
No. Oh, do you want to know a fun fact?
I would love to know a fun fact.
Who was supposed to play Jake Ryan before this actor got cast?
What can I guess?
Yes.
Is
You're never going to guess,
is it
though. You're
someone
never going to
is
guess.
someone well known?
I mean, you could say that, yeah.
Okay, is it someone that's a bit fucked up looking?
No,
Okay, so it's a good looking guy.
it's a good looking guy, much better looking than this guy.
Okay, much better looking and around the 80s. Oh,
He was in some peak movies in the early 2000s.
peak movies, early 2000s. I'm thinking Rat Race.
No, no, you're thinking the wrong type of movie, Harry.
Am I?
Think like actual peak movies from the early 2000s.
Really? Oh shit. See, all the only name that's in my head is Charlie Sheen. Peak movie, early
Like
2000s.
think all-time film of the early 2000s.
Nicolas
Films.
Cage.
Oh, get over it. No, it's not
Well,
Nicolas
you said early
Cage.
2000s. That's National Treasure timing.
I'm talking not just Harry Argyle. I'm talking like as a society,
Yeah,
well
and
agreed
my point
peak
stands.
film.
My point stands. Nicolas Cage. Is it
Okay,
Nicolas
I'm just gonna
Cage?
tell you.
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I'm so sorry if I'm mistaken this. Viggo Mortensen
Oh, Viggo
from
Mortensen.
yeah,
Oh,
he
that's
was supposed to
awesome.
play Jake Ryan. Can you
Yo,
imagine?
he's still hot as hell. I'm putting that out there.
Oh yeah.
He's a dreamboat.
So yeah, I'm glad he didn't touch this project though, because honestly, I wouldn't want to associate him with this.
No,
So
well
it
done,
worked
Vigo.
out. Anyways,
I'm seeing his directorial debut next month at the Sydney Film
oh
Festival.
shit,
Yeah,
I had no idea. That's cool.
yeah.
So anyways, yeah, so Carolyn gets her hair stuck. These drunk ass bitches come up and are
Drunk ass
giggling
bitches, eh?
and get some scissors and cut her hair free. Why nobody could just open the damn door, I don't know. But this scene is fairly iconic, obviously, of her getting her hair cut off and having her hair all messed up in the back. But I think they did it on purpose. I think she's one of those popular girls where she has friends, but her friends are really catty and don't actually like her. So I think they wanted to cut her hair.
I hate that.
I hate it too. It's like back in the time when women were supposed to hate women. That's how
Yeah.
we grew up. It's really icky and I don't like
I
it.
did notice that. I was just like, I noticed that because, like, for one, I don't know. I feel like we're both going to agree with this. Like, if your friend's drunk at a party, you're looking after them. Like, that's
Yes.
just it. That's
100%. I've had so many people do that for me,
yeah,
and I've done that for so many people.
yeah,
But this was not the time. Like, we literally grew up in a time where I was supposed to think that I was supposed to hate women.
yeah. That's fucked.
It's horrible. Anyways, so last point I'm going to make is I'm a homeowner now.
Well
If
done.
any high schoolers ever trashed my house like that, dead. Absolutely kill them. Dead.
That's awesome.
I'll stop there. So yeah, what do you think of these scenes? We've kind of already touched on the good and the bad. So if you want to just keep moving on, we can. But anything else to highlight?
Just every time Long Duck Dong appears in the gong scene, I'm just like,
Mhm.
every
I
single
couldn't even write
time.
it down because it
Yeah.
makes me so uncomfortable to think about.
Every single time that happened, I'm like, oh no, no, we can't be doing that. No
It's
way.
bad. It's really bad. And it's about to get worse.
I did
So
enjoy how they arrived to the party and they got out of the car and they're like making sure they looked all good for
the
each
nerds.
other. No, Long Duck Dong and
Oh,
the
yeah, yeah,
super
yeah.
tall woman, and they walk away from the car and the car's totaled. like
Yes.
I
They got
enjoyed
like in an
that.
accident.
I love that because at the end, when the granddad's just like, "Where's my automobile, Long?" and he's
Yes.
just like, "Oh, automobile,"
Yeah.
and you know it's
There
like
are some
God.
funny moments with that character, but I just hate how racist the undertones
Yeah.
are that
Oh
it
yeah.
makes me not want to laugh at it,
No,
you know?
agreed.
Like the actor is doing a funny job like with the character, but they just did it in a way that makes it just so horrible that it's hard to want to laugh at any of it.
Wholeheartedly agree. Yeah.
All right, so shall we just continue then into the final part?
Let's continue.
All right. So now we're back at Sam's house. She's home. She's out on the couch. Her dad finds her, and they have this, I guess, somewhat sort of sweet moment where he finally remembers that it was her birthday and apologizes for saying they didn't remember. But that the sister's wedding has been a lot for them, and it's been so stressful. Um, who plans a wedding the day after their little sister's birthday? I think that's weird.
That is weird.
So weird.
That's almost as
Um,
weird as getting engaged during a wedding, during someone else's
yeah.
wedding. That's if that happened, Ash. Let's say your wedding and your friend decided to propose to their girlfriend or boyfriend. Would you be angry?
I don't know if I'd be angry, but I think it's really weird. Like it
It's
takes
weird
away the
behavior.
moment.
It's weird
Yeah,
behavior, right? Yeah.
it's very strange behavior and it's not romantic.
Yeah.
Like
Not that this
it's just
happens in
not.
this film, but I'm just like, that's just something I always just thought would be a bit
Yeah.
weird.
The whole wedding storyline is so odd anyways. I think they just wanted to create something to like be a catalyst for them forgetting her birthday and that just kind of was like it and obviously
Yeah.
brought the grandparents to town.
No, I think you're right there.
Um I also thought it was interesting watching the scene with her dad. I kind of remembered, like, I was like thinking back to movies I grew up on. They always made sure to have a scene. I don't know what that was. They always make sure to have a scene where the dad and the daughter have like some heart to heart, and the dad is like being such a good dad. But they never have it with mom and daughter, not in older movies. I've never seen that
Mm,
up until like more recent films. And I think it's really kind of shitty to not showcase like those positive mother-daughter relationships too. It's always like mother-daughter like this with each other. So that just kind of
that's true.
I didn't really like that moment. I felt like it was kind of forced with her dad. And then he has this cheesy ass line after she tells him about her crush on Jake. And he's like, that's why they call them crushes. If they were easy, they'd call them something else. And I'm just like, ugh, I hate that. I hate it.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why they
so
call
negative,
them
I know, but
crushes.
I just
No, no,
think it's
like
so
to be
cringe.
fair, I like while I was watching this, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna wreck this film. like,
Well, yeah, and then you go to the end. Sorry to like jump forward, but then when she drives off with Jake, her dad's like nodding away. Like, I'm like, what is this ending? Like, what the fuck?
if I had a daughter, right, and Jake's taking my daughter away, I'm not stopping before until I get to that man. like I'm driving after that man.
Like,
That
not
guy
that it's
sucks.
bad for your daughter to go on a date or something, but just like the way he makes that face at her is just so weird.
Yeah,
Anyway, so we're back with Jake and Ted in the kitchen because he's Ted's still at the party and it's like just Jake and him left over. And they're holding on to her panties, just like
that's so weird.
having a conversation. This might be the worst scene in the entire film. Jake proceeds to make a date grape
Yeah,
joke
yeah,
about his girlfriend. Absolutely disgusting. I was watching this movie with my husband Adam, and I was like, "Did you just hear what he said?" And he's like, "I missed it." He's like, "Wind it back." And I was like, "I gotta listen to this shit twice because it is rough what he
yeah,
says. If you've
yeah.
seen the movie, you know, it's
That's
disgusting."
I like that. My jaw's on the floor when that happened. I
Yeah,
was like, how did he
yeah.
write this?
When I was a teenager, I don't even think I would have caught that. You know what I
No.
mean? Like you don't really understand things the same way. So I just like didn't even process it. Horrific. And then they decide that Ted's going to drive drunk Carolyn home so that Jake can go track down Sam.
That's a good idea.
So he's basically like cheating on his girlfriend. Um, and then Carolyn is just apparently so wasted that she's just like falling asleep and passed out, falls into Ted's lap, and he says to the camera, "This is getting good."
Yeah, that's oh
Ick,
man.
ick.
Yeah, this is so gross.
this whole last chunk of the movie is just I just hate it with a passion. Um, yeah, so then Ted, that's not bad enough. He goes ahead to his friend's house and goes and tells them that he has her in the car. And grab their cameras and they all come out and he gets in the back seat of Jake's dad's Rolls Royce, which is so fucking expensive. And just has her passed out in the back seat, just like has her leaning up against him, pretending like they're all together, and they take a bunch of photos. So weird.
It's
So weird.
this whole scene is so bizarre to me.
So bad.
Where he
It's so
drives
bad.
to their house and goes, "Get the camera!" Like,
Ugh,
gross as hell.
it's so gross. I like reading this again is making me even more grossed
Yeah,
out.
this movie
Okay,
sucks.
it does. I might even lower my score.
I'm thinking about
Okay.
it as well.
So now we're in the next day, and the entire family is heading to the wedding for the sister, and it's madness as expected. And then I already mentioned this, but I said, side note, who plans a wedding for the day after your sister's birthday? Which I already brought that up.
Yeah, amen.
Um, and this is where I think we have Long Duck Dong passed out on the patio. I can't even say his name without cringing. Um, we have the grandparents and all them kind of chaotically getting
Where
to
is
the
my
trailer.
automobile?
Yeah, that just scene is the grandparents acting
It's
is so
awful.
bad.
It's so
It's
bad.
so bad. And then yeah, we have Ted and Carolyn waking up in the car the next morning, and she proceeds to tell him it's the parking lot across from her church. It's like, what the fuck? And then she basically tells him that she's pretty sure they had sex, but she's not sure, but she's pretty sure. And then we jump to the sister walking down the aisle high on muscle relaxers. She took 4 because of period cramps. I'm sorry. 4 muscle relaxers, like I'm a female. I've had some rough moments with that. 4 muscle relaxers is a little excessive, if you ask me. There was like this whole theme across the whole movie where like she got her period, like
Like,
basically like
that's the
everyone
worst thing in
knows.
the world? Yeah.
Yeah, and like the little brother even makes a comment about like how she won't be doing it on her wedding night because of it. Like, I don't know, it's so bad.
It's kind of
Um,
like, yeah, I was thinking the same thing because I was watching this. I'm like, did John Hughes at that time know what a period was? Like,
who knows? I feel like he didn't have like a woman in his life that he loved if he wrote this movie. I mean,
yeah,
it's
probably
just
didn't.
like it's so horrific to women. Um, love you, John Hughes, but man, this is a rough one.
I'm
So Ted
sure
and
he
Carolyn,
knew by the end, like, by the
he
end of his
yeah,
career, he would have,
he knew.
yeah,
He had to have known.
yeah.
So Ted and Carolyn, they share a kiss. So weird. And Jake drives up and they have this conversation. They agree to end their relationship. The conversation is so bad. She's like, I mean, we're not gonna like nothing bad's gonna happen if like it doesn't work out. Like they're being so dramatic about it. Just like
Yeah,
our lives aren't gonna end if we don't end up
it's like,
together.
dude, you're
And it's like,
16. Like,
okay. Like
Jesus Christ, wait till you find out about capital gains tax. Like, Jesus.
um and then we have Sam walking out of the chapel. The wedding's over now. Sister's still like high off her ass when they drive away. All the cars perfectly pull away at the exact moment. And Jake's just standing there in front of the red car. We have this infamous scene that has been recreated so many times in teen shows and teen movies. And also a little sidebar for you, Harry. Did you know that the actor who plays Jake was 23 when they filmed this?
How?
Unlike Molly Ringwald, who was 15.
Oh, that's, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's gross.
That's very weird.
It's very gross.
Yikes.
So yeah, we end with it's so weird. She's like, the dialogue is so horrible that they have. He's like, do you want to hang out? And she's like, well, there's the reception. And then he says something and she's like, oh wait, I'm not going to the reception. Like her own sister's wedding
Yeah,
reception.
that's
And then
nuts.
it's the whole conversation makes no sense. It was written horribly. And then they flash to like nighttime at some table with a cake and they kiss over the cake. And then this is it. This is 16 candles. So, Harry, tell me your final thoughts and your overall rating of this film. I can't.
Thank you so much for inviting me. No, thank you so much for coming. Like this, yeah, the ending of this movie is rough. Um, this movie is just it's a nothing film. Like, I'm never gonna
Hmm.
watch it again, to be honest.
Hmm.
But that you see what I mean. There's moments where I'm like, I can see where John Hughes is going in his career. There's moments that he definitely focuses on. There's some of the high school elements which I like. The whole high
Hmm.
school setting, he does that really well. But there's a lot that he learnt from this film. Um, but I don't know. Like, there's hardly any more to kind of touch on here. Like, I just meh this film, and I'm glad
Hmm.
we got a film like this on the roster, just so we can do a meh film. Um,
It's good to analyze. I mean,
yeah,
it's important to not just be like, "Oh, it's nostalgic. It was good for the time. I love it." Like, it's good to break it down and like critique it because it
yeah.
deserves it.
I'm sure it was good at the time, but the time ain't now, and now it's not that good.
Well, when you're looking at the rest of the 80s films that we're going to be talking about here soon, it's not good.
No,
Not
it's
even
just it
close.
is not touching those. Hell no, no.
What's your final score?
Final score, oh, man, I had it at 3, and I've like throughout this whole thing, I've lowered it to 2.5. So
Love it.
yeah, so it's normally when Ash is hosting these, I always raise them to fives. So like
Yeah.
you've done the Lord's work today.
I can convince you both ways apparently to
Yeah,
raise it or lower your
it's quite
score. I have so much
impressive.
power.
It's quite impressive. Try and do that to National Treasure. I
I'm not even going to
dare
try.
ya. Oh man, we need to get National Treasure on here. That's what the people we call. Got a message from Ryan Gosling last week. He just emailed into the show. And he
Mm.
said, "Please, Ash, let Harry do National Treasure for an episode." So we'll
I heard
see.
nothing after Please Ash. If Ryan Gosling even said my name, I don't hear anything after
That's
that.
fair. That's fair. That's fair. No, I think this movie's average as all hell.
Yep.
I think it's very much a first film, for sure, but that's not to credit anything. I think it's lazy at times. I think it's very bare bones comedy. I think it very much felt like a first draft.
Mhm.
There are elements, as I said, elements that like showed the trajectory of his career. But he only goes up from there, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I need to rewatch Weird Science. I've fond memories about Weird Science, but I haven't watched it in a decade or so. Um, but Breakfast Club, I fucking love. I watch that movie every year. I love Breakfast Club. But comparing the like as you said, like Breakfast Club's gone down for you, but surely comparing this and Breakfast Club, night and day, like in terms of which one's better, right?
Yeah, I definitely think Breakfast Club is better. I just don't think that it's as good as most people think it is for me on rewatches now. But
Yeah,
I definitely think it's definitely better than this one.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
not a question. Um,
What do you think about it, and what's your score?
I think you can tell what I think about it based on my
Five
commentary
stars.
here. Yeah, I agree. I think it's homophobic. I think it's sexist. I think it's racist. I think that it's cringy. I think that it's kind of just lazy writing and
Very lazy.
lazy editing and lazy characters that are unrelatable, unlikable, dull. Um, I think that Sam has potential to be a likable character. She has moments, especially for me, like as a female and like watching this as a teenager. I think there's moments, but it's so surface level. This movie treats life like it's just so surface level. There's just nothing meaningful here, no meaningful conversations. The only line I'll ever remember from this movie is they fucking forgot my
They
birthday because I think
fucking
it's really
forgot my
iconic.
birthday.
But that's really it. Everything else is so forgettable for me. Yeah, I do like aspects of it. I do like the vibe of it. The soundtrack is great.
Hmm.
Um, Sam has, some great moments, like I said. I think the opening is good. And I think, you have that John Hughes vibe there, which you want to love it. But and then it just like dumps a bunch of shit on you while you're trying to like love it. It just doesn't work. So I also gave it 2.5. It's like a low 2.5 for me. I'm trying to find some good in there because I had a connection to it when I was younger and it got me into film to a certain extent, like especially from this decade. So I'll give it that, but it's just not good.
That's fair.
So
Very
that's
fair.
my thoughts on 16 Candles.
Very very
So that's
fair.
probably our most negative movie review we've done yet.
Hey, we needed one in there. Like we were saying last week, we did like let me just go through the ones that we've done previously. We did After Sun. We've done Minari. Come on. Talladega Nights, Warrior, I Tonya, the Before trilogy, 10 Things I Hate About You, In the Mood for Love, The
Banger.
Lobster, the Green Mile, The Matrix, Pulp Fiction, Heat. Like they're all incredible films. So we
Hmm.
do need like one in our catalog that we do destroy.
Yeah, 100%. And this is going to be a movie that some people might disagree with us. They might like it. So I'm very curious, but I definitely think that there's not much to chew on here. And there's just a lot more bad than good. So
Not much to chew on. I like that phrase. Now I want a
that's what we
steak. I'm gonna cook a steak today, I think.
Oh, there you go. That sounds delicious.
Yeah.
Well, that is what we think of 16 Candles. So now we'll move into our game, fun part of the episode, the
Ooh.
non-negative part of the episode.
We'll find out.
We're doing an 80s themed draft and changing it up a little bit. Originally, I know I messaged you and we were going to do 6 movies, all fitting in a certain category, but
Mm-hmm.
We had to expand it to 10 because there's just too many good movies in this
Yeah.
decade to leave them out. So there is going to be 5 categories though. So the way it works is you have to get at least one film that you're out of your 10 list, 5 of them have to fit into these specific
Yeah.
categories. And then the other 5 can just be anything. So the categories are at least one horror film, at least one that's action slash sci-fi.
Yeah.
So it can be both action sci-fi or just action or just sci-fi.
Yeah.
One animated, one Oscar nominated, which I think is interesting because, I feel like that's a decade where maybe you and I haven't seen that many Oscar nominated films, but there's some good ones in there. And then one classic teen movie, since we are doing 16 candles.
Makes
We
sense.
can have any kind of debates on, what fits into that, but
Yeah.
I think it'll be
That's
pretty
what I
clear.
think we're gonna have a couple of debates.
Yeah. And then the rest can be just anything, like I said. So you can, for example, you can take 2 horror films.
Yeah.
That's not, you don't have to
One's
just
gonna
have
be in the
one.
wild cards.
But one's going to be technically a wild card. So you don't have to start with your 5 categories. You could
Wild
literally
card,
go,
baby.
you could literally do like 5 wild cards in a row if you want, and then do like you don't have any specific order you have to go in.
Yeah. No, that's fine.
So I'll keep track of the picks, and I'm gonna let you go first because I'm so nice.
Oh, Ash, thank you. That's really nice.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, there's a couple of different avenues we can go down. By the way, Oscar nominated, so it doesn't have to win Best Pictures. It has to be like a nominated.
Oh, it doesn't have to be nominated for Best Picture. It could be just Oscar
Nominated.
nominated for any category, and it's between 1980 and 89. So
Cool.
it would have been,
Awesome.
movies that came out in that decade.
I'm going to go horror first.
Okay.
I'm going to go with what I think is possibly the best performance of all time, which is The Shining.
I kind of expected that from you.
Yeah. I like The Shining.
I just had this conversation earlier about which movie is better, and I'm going to go ahead and take the other one that I was debating about. I think I'm gonna take it under horror as well. I'm gonna take The Thing.
Yeah,
I think is better than The Shining. Just forever a classic, and Kurt Russell is everything.
You're not getting an argument from me there, Ash. Not getting an argument from me. Well done, Ash.
We both got our horror checked out.
On behalf of the Harry Nation, well done.
Thank you.
Action sci-fi. We can debate this little bad boy.
You don't have to go in order. You can go in any order you want.
This is the ones that I have least in. Action sci-fi. Would you count Empire Strikes Back?
I would say absolutely. I mean, I think there's elements of both.
Then I'm gonna cast Empire Strikes Back.
Let's go to Letterboxd to see, but it says action, science fiction, adventure, so it's got both.
There we go.
I had it on my list as well.
All right, cool. Right, cool.
Absolutely fantastic Star Wars movie.
Thank you. I made it.
Nice. Okay. Well, I'm just going to kind of follow in your lead because it just kind of seems to be working out that way, and I'm going to go with my action sci-fi too. I'm going to take one of my favorite movies of all time.
I've already written it down.
You're writing it?
Yeah,
what are you writing? Tell me.
Aliens?
No.
Oh.
Back to the Future.
Oh, I like that.
Honestly, I like Aliens, but I would not call it a favorite. I think I've only seen it one time. It's not something that I'm dying to rewatch.
I didn't even have that written down in my action sci-fi. Yeah, makes sense.
Really? It's one of my favorite movies ever made.
I had it written down in my wildcard section, but I had that. Yeah.
It's definitely sci-fi.
No, for sure. No, you're entirely correct. Yeah.
Well, that's my pick. The Future.
I love that. Well done. Fuck, I love Back to the Future. How good is it? I'm gonna go Oscar nominated.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Raging Bull.
Nice. I haven't seen it. I had a feeling you were gonna pick it though.
I love Raging Bull.
It's a good. I've heard really good things, and I feel like it's definitely one of the higher rated Oscar nominated movies from this decade.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I feel like I need to also take. Well, no, I guess I don't have to. I have some time.
You have time, Ash. You got time. All right. Relax.
There's a movie that I have to have it.
Oh no.
I have to. And I'm gonna take it under wild card because I don't think that's where it fits. The Princess Bride.
Oh, good fucking pick. I had that on my list. It wasn't gonna be my I was gonna if that got to round 8 or something, I would have taken it. But yeah, well done. I love Princess Bride.
And I feel bad because I haven't seen Raging Bull, so you technically could have saved that since we don't draft movies we've never seen on this pod. But I don't know if you knew that I hadn't seen it.
Didn't know you hadn't seen it. No.
All right.
Which way do I go now? Um, See, this is tough. I'm going to go classic teen movies,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like that's probably the category that's not too many that we've got.
Yeah, it's definitely less than I was thinking.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Great pick. Yeah, it's probably the
I
best
That's
one.
probably my favorite John Hughes film. I love
Yeah,
Ferris Bueller's.
I think Uncle Buck's probably my favorite,
Oh
but I
yeah,
think that that one is definitely
I love Uncle
one of
Buck.
his better ones.
I love Uncle Buck.
Yeah, it's
Fair,
fantastic.
nice one.
John Candy is just okay.
Well, I wrote it as
Right.
Princess Bridge. That's funny.
Hmm. Okay. Well, now that you took that, though, you could still take these other movies just in wild cards. I feel like I should. Okay, I have a proposition for
Go ahead.
classic movie. Would Nightmare on Elm Street count? Because it is an 80s horror flick, but it is still a classic high school teen movie. It's teenagers dealing with Freddy.
Hmm. I do like the way
It
you.
defines classic teen movie.
That's true. We're not saying teen comedy, are we? We said teen movie.
No.
I feel like you planned this, Ash. You little trickster. I'll allow it because I'm a good friend.
I actually didn't plan it when I was writing my list. I was kind of struggling. Like you said, there's not that many options. And I was like, ooh, wait,
To
but
be
I could
honest,
take there.
I was never gonna take a Nightmare on Elm Street, even if you put in the wild cards, and I knew that you always were. So I'm okay with
Yeah.
that being there.
Okay. Well,
Nice one.
thank you.
Nice one. Um, there's a teenager in a scene of Die Hard.
Mm-mm.
No, I'm joking.
You could take it, but you'd have to take it in wild card.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. Okay. Or wild card. Ooh, wait. I'm pretty sure this is definitely 80s. Surely, I'm not. Cool. Wild card. I'm taking Blade Runner.
Nice.
What does Scooter think of Blade Runner?
Scooter, what do you think of Blade Runner? I don't think he's seen it. He's too little.
Yeah.
He's
Audio
too young
listeners,
for that movie.
we've got the mascot of the
Yes.
podcast on screen right now.
He had too much time away from his mother. So, okay, let's see. What am I going to do
This is gonna
next?
do animated.
I feel like I'm going to do my animated because there's one that I really want because it's one of my favorites.
Oh, can I guess what it
I'll go
is?
ahead and take Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh, I was gonna pick another one from you. Okay, nice one.
Hmm.
I haven't seen Kiki's Delivery Service.
Dude, it's
Well,
so good.
we might have it on the list for a certain something.
We might. I definitely think it's my favorite Ghibli film. I don't think it's the best one, but it's the one I had the most fun watching.
Yeah, nice. I'm very keen to watch it. I love Ghibli films. Okay. Well, I think I can leave my animated till last because I'm pretty sure the one I want you haven't seen.
What was your last pick again?
I did Blade Runner for my wild card.
Oh, that's right. Thank you.
Okay. Hmm. I'm definitely gonna pick that for my animated.
I didn't realize you hadn't seen it, so I kind of just did the same thing you did with Raging Bull, where I thought I should take it because I couldn't remember.
No, fair play, fair play. I'm gonna go with my second favorite film of all time for my wild card. I know there's a lot more better films than what people think, but this is the movie I probably watched the most, which is The Blues Brothers.
Oh, that came out in the 80s?
Pretty sure. Let me double check.
Oh, I didn't even have it on my list, but I might have just like
It came
missed
out in
it.
1980. Yeah,
Oh, shit. Nice.
I. That's the movie I've watched the most in my entire life. I've watched that
That's
movie
really
maybe
cool.
50 times. Love that movie.
I love how they just keep getting hurt and they just keep getting up like nothing.
Where she fires RPG into the building, blows the entire building up. They just brush off their shoulders.
So good. So good. Okay. Hmm. So I still need my Oscar nom, and that's it.
Yeah, and then
Got
you're
everything
just wild
else.
cards. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna wait a minute on that. I'm curious what you're gonna do. Okay, so
I'm curious what I'm going to do as well, to be honest.
I think I'm gonna get one more horror in there that I absolutely love, and I'm gonna take Evil Dead 2.
Yeah, that's one. Oh, what a good movie that is.
So fun.
All right, that's out of the way. Wild card. I'm gonna
Wild
go.
card.
Wait, I just gotta I know I wrote this list and I double checked it, but I always want to just triple check, you know.
Yeah.
And, the Yep, cool. I'm gonna go Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay. The one that I couldn't think of when we were doing that
Yeah,
game with AJ.
and that was
That
so.
was so
What's the
hysterical.
other one? Yeah,
The one that the guy from the Raiders of the Lost podcast did.
that was
I'm so
so
stupid.
funny. Oh,
Stupid.
that moment was
That
awesome.
aha moment. Yeah.
That was so
So
funny.
that was one of the ones I was gonna take for Oscar nominated. So I should have just done it while I had the chance.
So deep.
So now you got me nervous. So I could take one that would surprise you, or I could take one of my all-time favorite movies.
You go
Hmm.
right ahead.
I think I'll take one of my all-time favorite movies just because I'm drafting from the heart.
Yeah.
I'll take E.T. It was
Oh,
Oscar nominated. I can't
lovely.
recall what
Oh, you're taking it
category.
as Oscar nominated? Cool. E.T.
I
Lovely.
love that movie. I just rewatched it. I got the 4K like special edition box set of it, and it's so good. It
Oh,
holds up so well.
E.T.'s awesome. All right. Another wild card. I'm just doing all my wild cards. And I'll do my animated last.
Yeah.
I'm doing my fourth wild card. I'm doing the best Christmas movie of all time. Die Hard.
Okay.
Wait, what do you think is your best Christmas movie? Oh, nice, nice. I know what you mean.
I love Die Hard. I wish that like it got me excited about the holidays or like
Oh, it
that I
does for
really have
me.
fun watching it. But I just like I think it's a good movie. I really do. But
For the
it's just
past
not a movie that I'll ever watch at Christmas time,
for the
really.
past 6 years, at Christmas Eve, every single year, I have all my friends over, and we all watch Die Hard,
I love that.
and we
That's
cook
awesome.
meats and gingerbread.
That's fantastic. That's
Yeah,
so cute. I
yeah.
love it.
But what was your last pick?
E.T.
E.T. Yep, that's right. Cool.
Yeah. So now I'm just doing wild cards. Okay. Let's see here. I've got so many that I really love that
Wild
I want.
card, baby. Sorry. Every time I hear wild card, I always
I
think of
know. I'm
Charlie.
I'm thinking the same thing. One that I have to have it that we will be potentially discussing on this podcast as well is Rob Reiner's This is Spinal Tap.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm
It's a
very
fucking
keen.
fantastic movie.
Very keen. All right. Okay, I think I know how I'm gonna level this
Two
out.
more left each, right?
Yeesh. Oh wait, you got three left. I've got three left.
Oh, right.
Um. Oh mate. Oh wait. One, two, three. Oh
No,
wait.
we got two
No, my
each.
bad. My bad.
Last four here.
My bad. I okay. Well, that's now changed. For some reason, I thought we were doing six wild cards. No, you're right. Okay, now that's changed everything. I want that, but no. I'd rather get. I'm gonna go do the right thing. My last wild card.
I've not seen that movie.
Really? Oh
Been on my
no.
watch list, probably like it's one of the ones that's been on there like for a really long time.
You need to watch Do the Right Thing. Yeah, Do the Right
Yeah,
Thing's
I need to.
Do the Right Thing's spectacular.
I really do. Oop. Okay, let's see here. Last two. Oh Lord, what do I want to do? What do I want to do? Do I
Can't
want
believe
to
I left
pander?
Nikki Cage off the list.
Do I want to pander?
I left Nikki Cage off.
It's rude, Harry. It's rude.
What have I done? Who am I?
Okay. I think I'm gonna go with just a fantastic rom-com, and I'll take When Harry Met Sally.
You said rom-com. I was like, and I started right when Harry met Sally.
So waiting for you to meet your Sally, Harry.
Yeah, one day. Um, animated. I'll finish it off.
Okay.
I could have gone. I was originally going to go the 1986 Transformers film. But I'm not going to do that. I was also going to. The one that I thought you were going to go for was Grave of the Fireflies. Um,
Mm. Drafted it last week. I don't need to do it again.
I was going to ask him to do short films because then I was going to do Wallace and Gromit's A Big Day, A Grand Day Out.
I mean, I wouldn't veto it.
But I'm going to go with Akira.
Oh, nice. That's also one I haven't seen.
I love Akira. I saw it for the first time.
I've heard good things.
Saw it for the first time 2 years ago. It was at my local cinema, so I watched it the first time on the big screen, and it was like it blew me away. Loved it.
Mm. Yeah, the one I was thinking about taking for Oscar nom was Moonstruck.
Oh, Nikki Cage.
I didn't
needs
realize
to be
it was
on here.
Oscar nominated, but yeah, it's a good one.
Nikki Cage needs to be on here somehow.
Yeah. Okay, last pick of the draft. Oh, there's so many great ones left.
There is.
I've got so much variety here. I just don't know.
Can't believe he didn't draft Come and See. People,
Haven't seen it.
oh, those film bros are gonna come at us.
Oh, whatever. Um, I'm between four movies right now, and it's really difficult to pick because two were like classic 80s movies that I just have loved for a long time, and two were just like I've only seen once, but they're amazing. I wouldn't feel right. I'm okay with leaving off a Christmas movie. I can
Hmm.
accept that, but I wouldn't feel right leaving off this. Harry, who are you gonna call?
Oh yeah.
Austin makes me feel good.
Ba-ba-ba-ba-bam.
I'll take
Hell yeah.
Ghostbusters. It's just an
Awesome
absolute
pick.
classic.
I love the first Ghostbusters.
Me too. It's so classic. I love it. I was thinking about After Hours or Thief, like both
Yeah.
amazing, but I've only seen them once. I'm not like as attached to them.
Thief was on mine as well,
So,
on my list. I also had to the right there, Come and See. I had Raising Arizona was the one that I was going to
mm,
pick for Nicky
nice.
Cage. Blowout as well. Blowout's great.
Yeah.
Breakfast Club, Weird Science, Dead Poet Society,
Yep.
Amadeus, Land Before Time,
Hmm.
and Aliens and Predator.
I had The Fly as well listed. Stand By Me,
Yep.
Heathers, which is a classic teen
I
movie that I
love
love.
Heathers. Yeah, Heathers is great.
Yeah. The Goonies, one of my all-time
Would you
favorites.
count it? That would have been teen. That would have been counted as a teen movie, right?
Which one?
Goonies.
Yeah, I had it under wild card because I wasn't sure because the kids are not really
Yeah.
teenagers. The main kids are little, like
Yeah,
they're
that's
like,
true.
middle school age.
Like 10. Yeah.
Um, and then I had Moonstruck, Dead Poet Society, My Neighbor Totoro, or
Yep.
I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but that movie's really good. That's pretty much it. And then
Nice.
Christmas Vacation, obviously I left off, but that's my favorite Christmas movie.
It's a good Christmas
All
movie.
right. So you want to read off your list and I'll read off mine and I'll finish it and end us
Yes,
out.
yes, ma'am. So, horror, I had The Shining. Action sci-fi, I had The Empire Strikes Back. Animated, I had Akira. Um, Oscar nominated, I had Raging Bull. Classic teen movie, I had Ferris Bueller's Day Off. My five wildcards were Blade Runner, The Blues Brothers, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark, Die Hard, and Do the Right Thing.
Wow. Great list of films there.
Thank
Okay.
you.
It's actually just like 20 amazing films right here. So I had The Thing for horror,
Ooh,
Back to the Future for sci-fi action, Nightmare on Elm Street for classic teen movie, Kiki's Delivery Service for animated, and E.T. for Oscar nominated.
boom.
And then my wild cards are The Princess Bride, Evil Dead 2, This is Spinal Tap, When Harry Met Sally, and Ghostbusters.
Bustin'
So
makes me feel
let us
good.
know in the comments who won, but that was a pretty solid list of films. Um, all right, well, that wraps up episode 31 of Love, Death, and Movies podcast. Next week, we'll be going through District 9 with a special guest. So definitely check that out before that episode. But until then, follow us on everything. We're on all platforms YouTube, Spotify, and Apple for podcasts, and obviously all of our socials. Please follow it. We do appreciate it. But until next time, we will see you at the movies.